Hi everyone, this is Yogi.
And I'm Yogini.
And welcome to the third part of a 4-part series on Yoga Bandhas. Now we've already been through series 1, which was Mula Bandh in the lower area. And then we did Uddiyana Bandh, which is in the navel area. And now we're moving up to a more subtle area, which is Jalandhara Bandh. And that's in the throat area, the throat chakra. Now, if you haven't practiced Mula Bandh and Uddiyana Bandh, which is series 1 and 2, I suggest you do that first. You're welcome to listen to the explanation of this bandha, but it's better if you want to get the full benefits of the practice that you first master the first 2 and then move on to this one. Now, in this series, you're going to learn the science and the health benefits of Jalandhara Bandha, and you're going to learn the practice itself. So we'll move on to that and we'll start to practice it a little bit later.
So let's start by understanding the science behind the practice first. As we know, the practices of yoga are meant to keep the body and mind operating at its highest potential. And this is achieved by working with the central nervous system, which controls all functions of the body and mind. With yoga bandhas, we are able to specifically stimulate a nerve plexus along the spinal column and restore its power and function, bring energy to it. This brings power to whichever operating system, organ, gland, or hormone which it controls. In this series, we are learning the 4 yoga bandhas. The first 3 bandhas specifically stimulate 2 nerve plexuses along the spinal column, beginning with the base, moving towards the center, and then at the top of the spine. In part 1 of the series, we practice Mula Bandha, which stimulates the coccygeal and sacral nerve plexuses, also known as Muladhara and Swadhisthana chakra. In part 2, we practice Uddiyana Bandh, which stimulates the solar and thoracic plexus, also known as Manipur and Anahat chakra. Today, we will practice Jalandhara Bandh, a throat lock, which stimulates the cervical and cavernous nerve plexuses, also the hypothalamic pituitary axis within the brain. This is also known as Vishuddhi and Anya chakra. These energy centers control the metabolic and the nervous systems in the body. So the central nervous system itself, it controls the throat, the vocal cords, and the brain, and then all of their associated glands and hormones.
Now, what are the benefits of doing this practice? In the first practice, we were balancing more the earth element, in the second practice, the fire element. And now we move up to the subtle element of air and space. And when we do this practice as well, we're going to be affecting the endocrine system, all the glands. And the glands in the body are secreting all the hormones, which are controlling many of the functions. So, for example, the thyroid is going to be squeezed. This is going to affect balance of metabolism in your system. The parathyroid is going to get more energy into it, so it's going to be controlling the calcium flow in the blood. Then the pineal gland is going to be the gland that releases more serotonin and melatonin, so that starts to get regulated. That's why our feelings of happiness and sadness kind of go up and down when that gland isn't feeling good or it is feeling good. And then, of course, the pituitary gland is releasing the oxytocin in the body as well. So as we're moving up from the bottom to the top, we're getting much more into the subtle energy and shifts. That's why your body and mind will feel a lot lighter when you start to do this practice.
So let's talk about the emotional connection. As we know, the nerve plexuses along the spine are directly connected to emotional centers within the mind. And by stimulating a nerve plexus, you're simultaneously stimulating the corresponding emotional center. In Jalandhara Bandha, the fifth energy center governs emotional control and the ability to use discriminative thinking. So if energy is weak in this center, you will find that you are trying to control things and people and can become possessive. If the energy increases in this center, you develop natural detachment. This enables you to become a witness and observe when things are happening to you in your life rather than react and respond. So this translates to developing emotional control. Then, with the sixth center, it governs our concentration and focusing power. So when the energy is weak in this center, we're not able to focus. We are easily distracted. We do not have clarity of mind, and this brings uncertainty and confusion and can lead to chaos in life. When we increase the energy in this center, we are able to powerfully focus. And this creates clarity and certainty. It opens the doors to higher perception, which brings wisdom and has us function in our higher consciousness.
So let's get to the practice of it. Now, you sit up tall, your shoulders are back, your neck is straight. We're always taking this posture to bring that groundedness into the body itself. So when you do this practice, two things you're going to remember and focus on. One is the inhalation, and then you hold the breath, and then your head goes down, and you squeeze the gland here slightly, the throat, and you lock it. So it's going to be difficult to breathe. You're not going to breathe, but it would be. And you know that you've locked it correctly. And then you release, and then you breathe. So those are the two things you just got to remember. That's it. Inhalation, lock, and stay. And then all your attention and focus and awareness, it stays here. You observe what's happening here. A few seconds before you need to take a breath, again, lift the head first and then breathe. Okay? So that's basic, that is the basic movement. Okay, so we'll practice together. Sitting up tall, checking your posture. Continuously check your posture so your shoulders are not slumped and your head isn't coming forward. So inhale, exhale. Take an inhale. Hold the breath. Bring the chin forward a little bit and squeeze on the neck and focus in the throat area. Remembering you need to release it whenever you're ready. And when you do release it, you release the head first by bringing it up and then exhaling. And don't strain. Once you bring the head up, you exhale naturally. Observe how the energy is shifted in the throat. We'll go on to the next round. You inhale, exhale. You inhale. Hold the breath, bring the chin forward. Squeeze a little bit on the throat. And observe. And remember to come out of it whenever you're ready by lifting your chin and exhaling. How long you stay in this is up to you, but don't strain. Be very gentle with the body. And then you can lift the head and exhale. Observe the energy in the throat. Observe the energy in the mind. We'll do the next round. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Retain the breath. Bring the chin forward. Squeeze on the throat. Holding the breath, observing the energy in the throat. Remembering to come out of it whenever you're ready. Don't strain. Don't hold it too long. Remembering when you come out of it that you first lift the chin and then you exhale. Lifting the chin, exhaling. Observe the energy in the throat. You might notice that you're being able to hold the inhalation a little bit longer and retain your breath inward. That will happen over time as well. We'll go on to the next round. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Retain the breath. Bring your chin forward. Squeeze on the throat. Bring your awareness to the throat. And just watch the energy move in that area. It's up to you when you come out of this, but when you do come out of this, you lift your chin and you exhale. I'm continuing to do it a little bit longer. And then you're in, bring your chin up and exhale. Again, observing the energy in the throat and the mind. You should be able to see how the energy is moving in a subtle way. And your mind is getting more focused. We'll do the last round together. If you feel you've had enough, just keep observing the energy. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Lock the chin down, hold the breath. Observe the energy in the throat. Remembering anytime you need to come out of the posture before, just raise the head gently and exhale. We'll continue a little bit longer. And raising the head up, exhaling. And just observe yourself for a moment. Observe the throat, the mind. How is your mind feeling? You can open up the eyes. So each time you do the practice, just observe. The energy should be getting subtler as you do this practice. And as your breath gets longer and you're holding the breath longer, you'll notice that the energy moves much quicker in the mind, but your mind gets more focused and calmer.
2 little notes. When you are squeezing the epiglottis in the throat, it is subtle. There should never be any strain. There should never be any strain with any of the bandhas. Okay, so they are subtle contractions of the muscle. And as we mentioned with Mula Bandha, whenever you are holding, retaining the air, the lungs have a tendency, when you're holding it for a longer duration, to lock. So to unlock the lungs, you can perform a subtle sniff of air. It'll unlock and then exhale. You may even already be doing that naturally. So we hope you enjoyed this segment on Jalandhara Bandha, and may your practice be blessed.
Hari Om Tat Sat.
Hari Om Tat Sat.